then we're going to start the second half with tech. Now, we have a wonderful tech lawyer. Well, she's a lawyer that has leveraged tech tools quite very well in a remarkable manner. Barinaada Alex Iheanacho, a brilliant and leading startup lawyer, built a solution that clearly represents a new vision for legal practice with emphasis on client-friendly services in Africa. Our topic today is a legal framework for tech startups. Now, prior to meeting her for the first time, I think law was quite a boring practice. And someone will wonder, how can someone leverage the tools of technology and social media to push out their, their profession as a lawyer? Well, this is something that our guest today on Tech has done so very well. Barinaada Alex Iheanacho, she's a brilliant lawyer. She's done so much. It is great to have you. You are welcome.
Thank you for having me.
And so she said that every time she comes here, she's always pregnant. But it's great to have you. You
I was telling
welcome.
my husband that I think you would say this is like your 4th or 5th baby.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Now, first of all, why should a tech startup need a legal framework? Or any startup at all, as it were?
Okay. So emphasis on the word startup. They are not just a regular business. And I like to always, in fact, every opportunity I get, I like to clearly say that a startup is not necessarily a struggling business. It's a business that is using or leveraging technology to create solution. Okay. And so it is even more important that they comply or that they care about the legal aspects of what they are doing for so many reasons. I mean, there are lots of cases where a regular small business owner, IG vendors, no shades to IG vendors, can get away with not sorting out their legal, probably not registering their business,
yeah.
Probably not. What?
You're right. You're not registering.
You know, exactly. So they can get away with that. I mean, they just have to put their products out there on IG, and people will patronize. But a startup is building a structured business that they hopefully hope to scale, probably access fundings. You know, so there's a lot. They're actually creating a solution to a problem. So it's important that they care about the legal aspect of their business.
Wonderful. So now you're telling me that you cannot access funding without such a framework?
You can't.
Okay, what does that framework
except if the funding is going to meet your uncle to say, uncle, please, I'm starting it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, even some angel investors want to see some things in place. But if they're your family members, your friends, maybe out of sentiments, family sentiments, they can accommodate you and give you the money, but that's not the kind of money you need to grow or to scale. Yeah.
All right, so what does this framework that we're talking about now, what does it entail?
Okay. So, I mean, we're using the word framework. I hope it's not confusing.
Okay.
Basically, we're looking at the legal aspect, the legal anatomy, the entire thing you have to check legally when building your startup, right? Okay. So first thing is regulatory compliance. And this is the first thing. And when I say regulatory compliance, it goes beyond registering the business with the CAC. I've always said it that registering the business with the CAC might be a major mistake if that's the first thing you do without doing other things. So when we're looking at the legal frameworks, we're looking at everything that a startup or a company is supposed to do from first. And this will depend largely on what you're building. It will depend on, you know, the market you're serving, the individuals you're working with. Because, I mean, the moment you set up a company or an idea drops in your head and you feel like, oh, I need to go and register the company with the CAC, and then the first thing that, instead of having a conversation with your team, especially when you're building with other people, you quickly go to register the company with the CAC, you've already done a major mistake. Right? So first, you want to be able to clearly identify what needs to be done legally. For a lot of tech startups, and we're using tech startups, right? Yeah. They can be in different industries. It can be health tech, it can be ed tech, it can be fintech. You want to, first of all, clearly state what are the regulations that I should comply with beyond, you know, in cooperation with the CAC. And then once you figure that out, then who are the people I need to work with and how do I protect myself? Right? So you now talk about the documents you need to have in place, how to secure your interest and the interest of the company, and so many things like that.
I like that. So this is where a lawyer does come in. You have to talk to somebody.
You can't even build a tech startup, in my opinion, without involving a lawyer at some point. It's not possible.
It's not possible. Now, you made mention of IG vendors. I want to talk about that because a number of people do. We have some IG vendors that are now quite big, hair vendors, we know some.
Oh yes, they're making so much money.
So much money. Exactly. What can they do, you know, to make their business, should I say, more standardized, as it were, moving from that IG vendor space to, you know, a much more legal.
Okay, so let me use there's this program I run called the Business Legal Structure Program.
Okay.
It's for founders, and I'm using the word founders because our primary target is tech startups, right? But in the course of doing it, I've seen that there are some businesses who would have ordinarily been called IG vendors who still want to come in because they want to be able to protect their interests.
Wonderful.
So like we have a current cohort ongoing, right?
Yeah.
And there is an IG vendor, a skincare expert.
Ah, that is
You know,
skincare hair, especially skincare.
You get, but this is one skincare business owner that is looking to just go beyond being an IG vendor. So she's concerned about her regulatory compliance, NAFDAC. In fact,
because that's where a lot.
I don't want to mention their major fear in the industry right now. But yeah, there are some that are going beyond being just an IG vendor to setting up proper legal structures that can help them really scale and even make more money.
How do you identify these ones? So if I want to you know, patronize a skincare brand or a hair care brand, how do I know that this person has done that legal framework or they've set up themselves, you know, to, you know, that I can trust them or maybe, you know, more? Good
question. So one thing is, and no shades again to IG vendors. You see, when you get on a particular page and you see no refund, no this, no that, you just see XXX. I'm like, no, this is the wrong thing to do. What they're trying to do is create some kind of policy in place. But the policy is not to put those X. The policy is to have an actual document. Do you understand? So if it is a refund policy, you're saying that we have our rules and regulations that guide how we refund or cancellation, right? Yeah. So when you see that a vendor, just to answer your question, doesn't have all of those things on their page, but you can clearly see how they handle those issues, you know that, okay, this one is a properly advised vendor. And then, of course, you check out their products.
Their products.
Are they certified? Do you understand? Do they meet certain regulatory requirements, depending on what it is?
What it is. Right?
So it's easy to tell those who are trying to build an actual business from those who just have a hustle on IG.
Well, Barinaada, if we continue, if we have a note, there's so much I want to talk to you, but I know we'll be having you across 2 or 3 more weeks, and we'll get more time to, you know, talk about all of this and help people, because yes, when it comes to that skincare and all of that, this is something that I know people fall prey to. Thank you so much for coming, and here's wishing you the best with the cohort.
Thank you for having me.
All right,
Thank you so much.
Let's head